What is one way that we can understand the nature of our self and our experience such that we can let go of anything that arises, whether it's a psychological pattern or issue in our life? That would be the simplest understanding about the nature of what is going on here. And that is that whatever appears, be it a thought, a sensation, emotion, a perception of a situation, all of these forms of experience arise, they exist a while and subside, all by their self. There's no effort that we need to implement to catalyze in order to initiate the dissolution of these phenomena. They already disappear by their own nature. Whatever appears disappears. And the effort to maintain whatever appears, or the effort to resist what appears and destroy what appears, is itself another appearance that arose, exists, and will disappear. And all of this is seen from the perspective of the space of awareness in which all of these phenomena exist. So the important understanding is of ourself as this space of awareness in which all phenomena appear, exist, and disappear. If we establish our true essential identity as this space of awareness, then we recognize implicitly that we, awareness, are independent of the content of the mind, of the body, and of the phenomenal world. We are that in which all of these phenomena exist. And just like space is relatively independent of the objects that appear within it, awareness is rather absolutely independent of the objects of experience that appear within it. Awareness can be present and is present without thought, without sensation, without perception. And we know that because every thought, sensation, and perception appears. Before its appearance, it was not apparent. What was present was awareness. So awareness can be and is independent of thought, sensation, and perception. So its nature is independent of thought, sensation, and perception. So it is already free of everything. And that understanding itself is the letting go of everything. What we mean by letting go of everything is the understanding that we are already free of everything. Everything that arises cannot affect us, cannot perturb our presence, cannot change our intrinsic nature of simply being aware. Being aware is an ever-present attribute of ourself, of our presence. So that ever-presence, give that your love and attention. And who is it that gives awareness, love, and attention? Well, the source of love, the source of attention is awareness itself. For if we are giving, we are creating a movement towards. If we are giving attention, giving love, we are creating a movement towards. That movement arises from what is already present prior to the appearance of that movement. And what is present prior to the appearance of the movement is awareness. So awareness is the source of this giving of love, this source of giving attention. And so what happens when we understand that the giving love to awareness, in fact, comes from awareness? The giving of attention to awareness, in fact, comes from awareness, then this sense of a movement that needs to take place for awareness to love itself, to attend to itself, to be aware of itself, drops away. And what remains is just awareness aware of itself as stillness, changeless, immutable presence. And so, in understanding these words, what happens? The happening of trying to make an effort or a movement towards being established as awareness drops away. And what we see clearly is that awareness is already aware of itself and is letting everything exist and come and go as it does from this perspective of absolute freedom. So this is the most direct way of letting go of everything. It's not to make an effort. It's just to understand clearly what these words are pointing to, the experience which is already present, that awareness is this ultimate space or container in which everything exists. Everything comes, exists, and goes within. The question might be offered, well, where does everything go? Well, if we look to the space of awareness, we don't actually find any limits, any edges, any borders or boundaries to this space of awareness. It is infinite. So when a thing goes from our experience or disappears from our experience, it dissolves into the source from which it came. And the only source of everything that exists is this infinite space of awareness. So awareness is the source of everything, and that into which everything dissolves. So then everything that exists is made of the space of awareness. If we look at anything, it appears in awareness and is made of awareness. So where is there room for resistance? That would appear against something that exists. There is none, for the only substance present is awareness, appearing as everything. So awareness cannot resist its own presence. It is its own infinite presence. For awareness to resist itself would require that awareness step outside of its infinity, and from a place outside of its infinity, have an interaction with itself. But awareness cannot do that. If you try now as awareness to step out of being aware, can you do it? Can you step out of the presence of reality and exist in unreality? That is, exist in non-existence? No, you cannot. You can only be present as reality, as awareness, irresistibly itself. What were we seeking when we were asking the question, how do I let go of everything? How do I let go of this specific psychological problem? We were looking for peace, happiness, and self-love. What if we did not need to make an effort to get rid of any psychological problem, but rather just understand these words in our experience now, that our self is already the only infinite presence here, is irresistibly itself, imperturbably itself, never affected by anything that appears. That is already peace, happiness, and self-love. An effortless peace, happiness, and self-love. So my suggestion is don't spend years of time trying to get rid of any aspect of your experience. Rather, just see clearly the reality of your experience, who you truly are, and the essential substance of everything. Once you see that, which is always available now, you are established knowingly as the now, as the timeless now, as imperturbable peace, unconditional happiness, and absolute non-dual self-love.